History of Reverend George Brown. While listening to this narration, have in mind that these missionaries came to our shores mainly to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. They may have had different reasons, but under God's sovereign plan, His will had to be accomplished. We don't confine our thinking to our own country and our little islands, but see God's work from a different perspective. We see God's plan for fallen men. Men traveled from far and wide, leaving their comfort zones, their families, their work. George Brown was one of those missionaries. Brown had a connection with the Methodist Church movement that originated as a reform movement within the Church of England, founded by John Wesley. This movement had a great impact in our lives. Dr. George Brown, after serving his apprentice in Samoa, left the island in 1874. He had been keenly reading and watching the activities not only of traders, but also the LMS missionaries in the southern part of the New Guinea island, what is known today as Papua. So while he was on leave in Australia, he organized a mission to New Britain and the surrounding islands, especially the Duke of York Islands and New Ireland. On August 15, 1875, he arrived with his pioneer missionary party in Molat, Duke of York Island. In the following weeks and months, he moved quickly to establish an understanding with the leaders of the people. Basically, his strategy was to consult the local chief named Topulu and get him to agree to receive a missionary into his village. In the next 6 months, he made many trips to the mainland of East New Britain, especially to Nojup and Matalau and the west coast of Namatanai in New Ireland. By December of that year, he had placed missionaries in both East New Britain and the west coast of Namatanai, New Ireland. The Fijian missionary, Pauliasi Bunoa, was stationed in Khalil village by Dr. George Brown on 5 December 1875. After establishing missions in Molat in Duke of York Island, news reached mainland New Britain that there was a new Malira, magic, that was practiced in the island communities. A local warrior and clan leader of Nordup village named Tobola heard about this new magic, the gospel, left his village and went to Molat to inquire, and after learning about the gospel, he decided to take this back to his people. Tobola, the clan leader and warrior, purchased the new magic with a fathom of shell money, taboo, but Reverend Dr. George Brown, wanting to know if Tobola was genuine, asked the warrior to prepare a piece of land, make a garden, and build a house for the missionaries at Nodup. The warrior returned to his village and did what he was told to do. He returned a month later to inform Dr. Brown that everything was ready, and the minister and the 2 Fijian missionaries then went to Nordup. The delegation was still on their boat when the commotion broke out at the beach. Warriors from the nearby villages gathered at the seaside after hearing that Topulu and Towarwaram from Duke of York Islands were on the boat with the missionaries. These 2 men were previously cannibals who usually raided and kidnapped people from the coastal villages of Nordup, Bai, and Korere. After the arrival of the gospel in Molat, these men were converted to Christianity and accompanied Dr. Brown to Nodup. However, the raids and kidnapping conducted by these 2 warriors from Molat were still fresh in the minds of Nodup and the communities. The people wanted to pay back and gathered to wait for the 2 men at the shoreline. At the same time, Tobola and Reverend Dr. George Brown were trying to protect the 2 men and turned down requests by those on the beach to allow the 2 islanders to come ashore. They were confronted, but eventually, through prayers by the missionaries, the people accepted the good news, and the 2 Fijian missionaries, Penny Luvi and Levi Volavola, were brought over to establish the church. The Fijian missionaries named the village Matalau, which is now one of the biggest circuits in East New Britain. Despite the opposition from the warriors in the nearby villages, Christianity was established at Matalau on October 12, 1875. From there, the gospel spread to other parts of East New Britain, and on December 5, 1875, the gospel was established in Khalil, West Coast, New Ireland. The word Matalau is a Fijian name, a word that is not found in the Kwanua dictionary. Yet there is a Tolai village nestled on the foot of Mount Kabiu, located to the northeast part of the Gazelle Peninsula, named Matalau. It was the Fijian Methodist missionaries that came with Reverend Dr. George Brown that gave the place its name when they arrived on the shores of Nordup in 1875, October 12th. Seeing the beautiful black sandy beaches and the splendid and scenic environment, the Fijians exclaimed in their language saying, Matalau, meaning scenic, and the name was and is known to this day as Matalau Circuit.
Meeting em by Austin Law 51st General Synod. We by Austin Law Origin, Lo Matalau Circuit, here along about Nibutan region. We play Mamas that this church has been established 149 years ago, 1875, here along Nibutan Island, and we play by Austin along Matalau Circuit. La nabis, la origin, lo disla date when we call it this. I mean, look forward to talk thank you. Behind lo disla to double eruption in 1994, where President Bagarap Mila talk thank you to all people along Matalau Circuit, including Bai, Matalau, Rakunat, Rabuana, Korere. Isla pa congregation person na bukuan sa mesa Circuit, and we play Amamas that we play rebuilding back. Sabla facility where bin Bagarap Lodisla to eruption. History block Matalau Circuit in Kamasin 149 years ago. Church been established. You got the Savilo history long. 15 August 1875. Lot been come through long gateway to the Book of York, especially the Monarch Kinevanua. Ben Lodisla time. Church and can come down through long while church elders from Mibla Matalau. We been go pedaling one Talo Island or been kissing this church center. One time all Christian missionary, now been come down and established in this lab where now church and Mr. Blanham. But this lab, name of this lab, there was Nodu. The click place where this lab church been stopped established Langham, where monument and Mr. Pem talk on the yab. But me talk thank you that all missionaries have been come, or been established and looking this lab. Geographical location, or been finding one good plan, look, we this lab, now putting this name Matalau. Matalau, I mean a tall name. Kono Vanicula is la name Matalau and Christian language, it means also beautiful place, nice place. Also, I live in a established in the church today, even though double eruption in Bagarap is la place, but because of this legacy belong, beautiful place, today we play like rebuilding back.
This year marks 149 years of the gospel on our shores, since 15th of August 1875, hence our celebration today. May God continue to work through the United Church in New Guinea Islands, Morobe Province, and in Papua New Guinea as we continue to proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ. With that, God bless us all.